I wasn't paying attention.
I waited till now to open this up. Sorry.
On the shot clock. Good evening. Tonight we call to order the meeting of Mayor and Council on Tuesday, November 11th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you'd all rise for the invocation from Councilman Mike Bradley.
Dear Heavenly Father, Lord and our Master, thank you for this beautiful day. As we give homage to our veterans, both with us or in your kingdom, please bless them for their sacrifice, which allows us to be free. Bless the people in this room as we have a passion for our city and collectively take a leap of faith to perpetuate it for future generations. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
If you remain standing for pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Are there any changes to the agenda for tonight's meeting?
No, sir, there are not.
Okay. Just a reminder to council, after our regular session, we will have executive session this evening. Going to move on to the approval of the regular minutes from the meeting on Tuesday, October 28th, 2025. Those minutes have been provided to council in your packets. If there are no questions or comments regarding those minutes, I'll accept the motion.
Councilman Holland, I'll make that motion.
We have a motion from Councilman Orlando Holland. Is there a second?
Councilman Quillen, I'll second.
A second from Councilman Quillen. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Those pass unanimously. I believe next on our agenda is our Parks and Recreation Superintendent, Katie Hickey, is here to make a brief introduction. Come on.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Next to me is Deshaun Griffin. He is our newest Parks Tech 1. Some of you some of us at the utility departments already recognized him because he used to be our UniFirst representative for our uniforms. So he kind of knew a little bit of some people when he came in. He started on September 15th, and he did have a good 30-day review. So we're very happy to have him as an addition here. He is a proud husband and father of 6. Good for you. But we are just really happy to have him here. Would you like to say anything? No. So now you may walk the line.
Thank you, Ms. Hickey, and welcome, Mr. Griffin.
Thank you.
Okay. At this time, we're going to move on to public comment. Is there anybody here this evening for public comment?
No, sir.
Is there anybody submitting public comment via the internet or any paperwork? We're good? Okay. I'm going to move over to correspondence. Is there anybody here for correspondence?
We have no correspondence, sir.
All right. At this time, I'm going to move over to new business number 1.
All right, so we have gentlemen here representing Atkins Management, and it's that time in our agreement where we need to update our agreement, our management agreement for the golf course. So I'm going to take the liberty of introducing Mr. Chris Atkins of Atkins Management. If you wouldn't mind, Mr. Atkins, would you introduce your team as necessary?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmen and women, Mr. Mayor, thank you very much for the opportunity to address you. See a lot of new faces since the last time I was here. Congratulations on your election, all the new members. I represent Atkins Management Company. We've been managing the golf course at Hooper's Landing for the last 15 years. have a very good opportunity to work with the city. The golf course is moving in the right direction. We feel like we've done a good job. We've got it headed in the right path. We've been very pleased with the response we've gotten from the city and from the players in the surrounding area. Over the time, we've actually had a slight change with Atkins management that I wanted to bring to your attention. I'm still very much an active member of it and owner, yet I've brought in some of my top staff and managers, and they're also owners of Atkins management as well. And I would like to be able to introduce them to you. The idea behind it is we're a local company. We want to stay local. We like to take care of our interests within the local area. And this is how we've done it. So I'd like to start off by introducing Butch Holtzclaw. He's our director of golf. Butch has been a employee of Atkins Management for over 25 years. He's been a PGA professional for over 30 and very much a true asset to the company. Next, I'd like to introduce Mike Connor. Many of you already know him as a head professional at Hooper's Landing Golf Course. He's been there as a professional for the 15 years that we've been managing it. He does a great job. He takes care of everything as far as setting up the tournaments, bringing in junior clinics, women's clinics, teaches the game of golf, has been a big sponsor with the First Tee group, which brings local youth in and tries to teach them values as well as golf at the same time. So he's been a very integral part, and we're very pleased to have him. Mike's been a PGA professional for over 20 years as well, worked at a number of courses, and we're just very fortunate to have him. Next is Kyle Diaz. Kyle is our PGA professional. He's at the Rookery Golf Course right now. He was at the Rookery North Course. He's worked at several other courses, Rehoboth Beach Country Club, and a few others that I probably can't remember, but he does have. Kyle's also got around 20 years of experience as a PGA professional. He helps all of our team members work together, promoting tournaments where they need help, work with each other, and like they help with the advertising and everything else. Mike handles a lot of it for Hoopers as well, but we draw among everybody so that we can get the best results and the best return on our investment. Next is Michael Pine. Some of you know Michael. He's our superintendent at, he's actually our director of agronomy right now. And he's also the superintendent at the Rookery Golf Course, and he is also overseeing Hooper's Landing as well. He was a assistant of mine at the North Course in Milford when it was open, and then he became superintendent here at Hooper's for a number of years, and things moved around a little bit, and he's now at the Rookery South Course, but like I said, he does oversee them all. He's a wizard at growing grass, and Michael's done a great job. University of Delaware graduate, which is I'm proud of as being one as well. And he does everything, and his work ethic is top notch. The only thing we have a problem with him is when somebody's digging a hole, he's usually the first one in it. So he's a hands-on professional. And lastly, I'd like to introduce Joey Ruiz. Joey's our superintendent here at Hooper's Landing Golf Course. He was an assistant with me at, well, he worked at the North Course, and then he was the assistant at the Rookery South Course for a number of years, and then was promoted to superintendent here at Hooper's. Joey's a hardworking, very conscientious, and very capable person that we have, and we're very pleased to have him as well. He's doing a great job here. So that's kind of the introduction of our team, our management team. You know, we do manage to employ 30-plus people at the golf course, which helps out the local economy. We see things really growing here. As Seaford's growing, I see new housing going up all the time. The industrial park seems to be busy and new businesses moving in. Nylon Shopping Center, Seaford seems to be on the move, and I think that's probably an accolade to you all sitting here because you understand growth. So what I would like to do is go ahead and pass the mic off to Mike Connor, and he'll go over our proposal and the numbers that we've had, and he'll do a better job than me. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, council. As Chris said, kind introduction from Chris, and I do appreciate that. Just once again, I'm going to introduce myself. I am Michael Connor. I'm the head golf professional at Hooper's Landing. I've been there for 15 years. And I'm excited to show the growth and the impact our company has achieved over the past several years.
Wow.
Hooper's Landing has shown steady growth within a 14% increase in annual golf path memberships over the past 3 years, highlighting a strong community interest in golf and recreation. We now proudly host 3 local high school golf teams: Laurel, Delmar, and now North Dorchester. This past season, we hosted 12 local charity golf tournaments, including 2 new additional tournaments, Grand National Waterfowl and the Ducks Unlimited. Our partnership with First Tee, like Chris mentioned, has expanded over the last few years. We now host 4 to 5 junior programs annually, and we have a dedicated charity fundraiser with them supporting the Southern Delaware chapter. Merchandise sales have grown consistently over the last couple of years, increasing the amount per person of $1 over the past 3 years. Cart fee revenue, which the last time I was in front of you was to talk about carts, and the renewal of the carts. Our cart fee revenue has become a major revenue driven, generating over $240,000 in sales this past year alone. Our driving range and our club rental remain steady, giving an enhanced overall customer experience, offering new golfers an entry point into the game. Total revenue has grown over 6% the past 3 years, reflecting a strong management and community engagement. Well-rounded community involvement has led to overall success and local pride in Hooper's Landing. For example, our Wednesday night league we have is 18 weeks long. We have over 80 golfers that play weekly, and it is so popular that I actually have a 3-year waiting list to get into it. Our cross-country event coming up on November 22nd reached full capacity just 2.5 days after opening the entry. This year-over-year momentum has strengthened our brand, deepened the customer loyalty across the golf community. The Atkins management has delivered consistent financial growth for the city while enhancing the reputation and the community value of Hooper's Landing. As shown on the chart, the city revenue share has increased year over year, demonstrating our operational excellence and commitment to sustainable growth. Our proven systems, our experienced staff, as you just met, our deep understanding of the golf course industry are the foundations of this success. Renewing our partnership ensures continuing care, consistency, and growth for years to come. I want to thank you for your attention, also your ongoing support of our company. At this time, I'm going to bring up Michael Pine to share how extending our contract for 7 years will further benefit the course and the support to grow keeps growing. I thank you all for your time, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Hello, council, and thank you.
Hello. Good evening.
Just here to kind of go over all the lovely things we've been doing over the years that we've been working for you. So, the big things that we've taken care of as of late are we've rebuilt the third green. And then that's kind of leading into our next renovation and rejuvenation project that we're going on. Also took care of the fairways on the older side that were originally put in the 1940s. So I think that was time. As well as the greens were put in at that time too on that side there too for originally the DuPonts. So lots of irrigation, bunker work, all things that are great to take care of. So what is going to go into this project of redoing the greens is pretty simple. We're going to take off the top layer of the existing greens, put the drainage in, which is important for the water infiltration. We're going to put the pea gravel, which goes along with the drainage as well. And then we're going to sand-based. Right now you're sitting on what they call as a push-up green. And sadly, this push-up green was a technology of the past. And the sand allows the roots to travel deeper so you can stress the turf to a higher level than it can handle right now. And that's important to continue to grow the golf course in the correct direction. So I think that's all good things. Some images for you there of the process. Wish it was that easy. Along with that, I think it's really important for us to not have a green shut down at all as we're doing this project, because it's going to take some time and nobody wants to play on a 17-hole golf course. So our big plan is we're going to build a 19th green. We're not 100% sure we're settled on the positioning of this green, but we know that we are going to do it with your help, and this 7-year project really gives us the jump start to make sure that our investment goes along with the contract, and I think that's very important to us. In that general area would be the best location for us. It's along the road there, which is a bit of a concern, but I think that we've given ourselves enough room to make it work, and it'll also double as an area for us to do practice sessions when the green is not in use, and when the project is finished, it'll also have more purpose to it than it just being a forgotten area once the greens have been renovated. So this is a hesitant schedule of the breakdown of how we'd like to complete the project, and kind of gives you the idea of why the 7-year is so important to us. So this is all subject to change, but big thing would be the 19th green would start this winter, and then it would be open by the summer for when we would begin with the next green. So, and that would be a seamless transaction. Hopefully it goes that well for us. Weather sometimes can be a bit of a overcoming area there, but that's really just the breakdown of all the greens renovation, and I think that's a big part of where this golf course needs to go. Greens are kind of what everybody comes to play on. You know, they'll play on a cow pasture if you have good greens. So, you know, I think this ensures us taking a step in the right direction, and believe this will generate more revenue for both of us in the end. So. And we're excited, of course, to have the opportunity to be in front of you. So, any questions that Mike and I could?
I mean, are the new greens going to improve my putting and my short game?
Yeah, Mike might be able to take care of that for you. It's not going to hurt, though, if the ball's rolling really nice and smooth. So,
Councilman Quillen.
Yeah, I just got a couple questions on the
Yes,
19th
absolutely.
hole there.
Yes.
Is it going to be a par 3 or?
Yes.
It's Par three, okay. Any
For-
concerns about hitting the ball and, of course, most likely hooking and any cars and things like that? Is there gonna be any protection along
Yeah,
the
so-
highway?
Ideally, we've angled it so it's going away from the highway for the
Okay.
most part, and then we're possibly going to put some trees up in the area where the hook
Okay.
could possibly be to help protect it.
Yes, yes.
Good.
And reasonably far away from the road comparative to some of our other holes. I don't think it will be
Like, for instance,
super close. I mean,
16
yeah,
right now is pretty close to the edge of the road there.
Right.
16, it'll be further away than that one is.
Okay,
Right.
all right,
So-
good.
but anything is
A-
possible.
Any concerns about the driving range? Because that's 300 yards, I know.
Yeah.
But, you know, we do have some people that can hit it that far.
I will lighten up when I go to the driving.
Appreciate that.
There you go.
No, it should be fine. It's
Okay.
actually going to be further than the corner would be where the walkway is already.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I
Hey,
just want to make one other
please,
comment. I
by
do
all means.
appreciate the efforts that you are making, because I don't play out there a lot, but I do play, and there was some concerns over the summer there, and things are really coming back together, and having a lot of good comments coming back to me, so I just want to say thank you.
It
Okay?
was quite a difficult summer.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. Yeah.
Any additional questions from the council? I do have one. You mentioned about the various leagues and tournaments you've taken on over the years, and I think that's improved the overall ecosystem of the course. Where do you see it going in the next few years, as far as like a 5 to 7 year plan? Are you taking on additional challenges, looking for additional tournaments, additional leagues? Kind of where are you going?
Well, ideally, additional tournaments are, it's a balance.
Yeah.
The more tournaments you bring in, the less public play you can put in. So we want to still be available for the membership, we want to still be available for the public play. So we are currently, I average about 2 to 3 charity events a month, and I don't really want to push it any more than that. I do have other leagues than the one I just spoke about. We have one on Tuesday night as well. That's a local, just local, I guess you go hit and giggle type of league. You know, people just come out and play in that one. But other events, I mean, yeah, we're always looking to drive to have more people, more things out there. The event that I spoke about with the cross country, that's one that I developed myself. We do have one in the spring. That's our Greenskeeper Revenge Tournament. It's very popular as well. So we have other events, and I had events for all the memberships, the people that are decided to become members. We had your club championship, which normally we have in August, but with this new plan, that might be the time frame we start to shut down the whole. So I'll probably end up moving that to like a June time frame when everything's up and running.
Very nice. I will say, I have a couple friends of mine who are much better than I am at golf. And before they go travel for a tournament, they'll come play at Hooper's, because they say that the course is very challenging and very narrow. So
Yes.
it helps them prepare for tournaments they're going to play in. So it's not only a amenity for our community, but also avid golfers who play competitively look at Hooper's as something to prepare them before they go on a major tournament.
Tell them to tell their friends. Yeah, we'd
Yeah.
love to continue to grow the public play as well. So.
That's all I got.
I just have one question. I noticed the list of schools that you listed did not include Seaford. Is there any hopes of bringing golf back to Seaford?
Well, that'd be something probably you want to talk to the school
Yep.
about. They've had golf teams, they were there when we first opened. But they have not been able to field a golf team in the last 5 years.
Gotcha. What schools did you say? North Dorchester, Laurel, and
I don't know.
Del Mar? Okay.
Get the Jays out there again.
I was gonna say Woodbridge used to have, my daughter played for Woodbridge, so. Yep.
Council has in their packet the updated Atkins Management Agreement, and I'll just point out a couple things there. The only changes that were made, there's a red line agreement in your package. We did update the mailing address to the new mailing address on Broadkill Road in Milton, Delaware. On page 2, just 2 things to point out. This is a 7-year term. The last contract was a 5-year term. So if council decides to approve this revised contract, it would take us through 2033. And then compensation has been adjusted, and we did a schedule in the contract for the first year as well as year through 7. That monthly payment would adjust annually by 4%. I'll just note that Atkins Management in the last contract term did not get any changes. And as council will remember, that was a tough period of 5 years when pay rates went up, inflation occurred, so they've worked that in to the schedule of compensation on page 2. And then lastly, something Superintendent Pine talked about, agronomist Pine talked about, the greens renovation on page 5 is laid out, and the greens that they will renovate and the timeline for that has been memorialized in this revised contract. Other than some minor grammatical errors and corrections, there are no other changes, just a few other updates to that contract that should council decide to approve that, we can get that processed. This would start with the new budget year, because this takes us, the existing contract takes us through June 30th of 2026. So certainly, we can try to answer any questions council might have related to the contract.
Vice Mayor.
This may not be related to the contract, but, you know, I'm pleased to extend, to be able to, I'm in support of that. But what I do see is only 2% year-over-year growth for this past year. You know, it's leveling off, and our fees are increasing. What do you, there's a two-pronged question. What do you attribute the low growth? Because every other year is double-digit growth, except for this year. What's going to get you back on the track for double growth, the double-digit growth year 1 through 7?
Well, ideally, I mean, weather is a big issue. This past year, going into the end of the the beginning part of 2025, we had a real rough season going into it. So that hurt us a little bit. Other growth that we have planned, I don't know if many of you that are golfers know a little bit about Golf Now. Golf Now is a huge online booking agency that's, you know, we've been part of, but at a very small scale. And I do think that we could utilize more usage of that program to increase more of the public play, as well as one of the things that we have done for membership, because of the conditions that we had this year with the bad weather and everything, our membership, we've locked in for the 7-year renovation. We locked in the membership fee for all the members for the 7 years that we've gone through. So that should keep all of our memberships, because normally you lose an attrition of about 15 to 20% of members every year. I would think this will help us retain more members as well as grow with new memberships coming forward. I think that's another way we can grow that and increase this back up to, I mean, a big jump. I would say that the 10% at Butch probably back me up here. On a normal golf course, you know, double-digit jump every year is pretty impressive. Yeah. But we are getting to a point where, you know, we're now, like I spoke to earlier, becoming popular, becoming more brand related. So at some point, we will probably have to level off a little bit, but you'll still see some growth, maybe not in the double-digit aspect for all 7 years, but we're hoping with this new improvement too, and people see how much we're putting into the new greens, that'll also help us with some increase in improvement.
Well, it's understandable. I mean, you had COVID and you had a big spike.
Right.
And that's going to be hard to overcome because you got saturated, and
Right.
but you still had really good growth the succeeding years. And, you know, we did get a lot of rain early, and that's understandable. But, you know, we want to have a
Absolutely. It benefits us both.
When you guys succeed, the city
Yes,
succeeds.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any additional questions or comments from council regarding the contract itself or otherwise? Okay. If there are no additional questions or comments, I will accept the motion.
Councilwoman Grassett, I make a motion to approve the Hooper's Landing Golf Course Management Agreement as presented.
All right, we have a motion from Councilwoman Grassett. Is there a second?
Councilman Quillen, I will second that.
A second from Councilman Quillen. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Move on to new business number 2. Mr. Walton, Mr. Wright.
Ms. Merritt is going to do some
Excuse
introductions
me.
for us.
I would just like to add to this group that I meet with them quarterly with the other members of management, and they are just a top-notch organization, and they've been a really good asset to the city with running the golf course for us.
Thank you.
That's my plug. So I'm up here to introduce the city's actuaries, and I have Jeff Walton and Robert Wright with Gallagher Benefit Services, formerly known as Buck Consultants. We've been with the same company for 20-plus years, and it's just kind of changed names. It's been gone through several different, I don't know if they were mergers, that type of thing. But anyway, they're currently known as Gallagher Benefit Services. They're here to present, we had what was called an experience study. They're going to present the results from that. Basically, that is something that is, from a fiduciary standpoint, it's a good process to go through every so many years to make sure that all of your assumptions for your plan are up to date so that you're funding that benefit accurately. So they're going to go over that, and then they're going to discuss the valuation report, just kind of the funding status and where we are with our general employee pension plan.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, council. Thank you for your time. I just wanted to, my name's Bob Wright. I'm the Delmarva DC practice leader for our actuarial business at Gallagher. Jeff Walton is the lead actuary for Seaford's pension plan. He's been the lead actuary for over 10 years. He'll present the results of the valuation. I just wanted to spend a few minutes to discuss the experience study that we conducted and why we thought it was important to undertake it. As actuaries, we have a professional responsibility to, whenever we sign an actuarial evaluation report, complete an actuarial evaluation, we are attesting to the reasonability of the assumptions in the valuation. And there are a number of assumptions that are used in an actuarial evaluation. What we're doing is we're calculating the present value of future pension benefit payments that are expected to be paid from the plan. So we're looking for active employees, we're looking at their future salary increases because the pension formula is pay-related plan. We're looking at assumed retirement ages as they age and retire, assumed terminations before retirement, assumed life expectancies. So there are a number of assumptions we make in the valuation. Generally, every 5 years or so, we think it's a good time to review assumptions, to undertake an experience study. It had been over 10 years with this plan. So we approached June and Charles earlier this year and said we thought it was appropriate to review the assumptions because it hadn't been conducted in a while. I think one of the things we had learned, which prompted this as well as our professional responsibility, was that the council or the team had undergone a compensation study recently, and I think the results of that study were out of line. Just superficially, they looked like they were out of line with what we had been assuming. So we went through this study. In general, what we do is we'll look over the past 5 years of actual experience from the plan, and we'll try to reflect that as much as we feel is appropriate. With a smaller group, sometimes it's not statistically credible to fully change based on the experience of a smaller group, so we'll usually blend that with our base of actuarial clients of similarly situated plans, public sector plans, where we have a larger experience base to look at that and look at plan-specific experience along with the, a normative experience of a larger group. Going too quickly for me there, I apologize. Back here, oh boy. Yeah, so we looked at a number of assumptions. Probably the most significant, most important assumption is the investment return assumption. It's the assumption we use to calculate present values, discount the liabilities, and come up with a liability. The 7% assumption, you look year to year, the markets can jump around, but when you smooth that out and look over a longer period of time, the 7% was reasonable. It was also in line with other public sector plans, so we recommended no change there. We kept the 7% long-term investment return assumption. As I mentioned, we had seen experience that the salary increases in recent years had been higher than we had been assuming. We had been assuming a 4% per year salary increase rate. What we proposed was what I'll call a select and ultimate assumption, where we said for recently hired employees, we'll start at a higher salary rate and grade that down over the next 5 years or so, but with a higher ultimate rate of 4.5% for salary increase rates. Mortality, this is a small group, but we generally want to keep up with the most current study that had been completed by an actuarial society. So we updated the table from the 2010 study to the 2016 study. The other assumptions didn't have that significant effect. Some went up, some went down. A number of them we didn't change. But the overall impact of these recommended assumption changes was an increase in the recommended contribution of $70,000, and the largest driver there of the single assumptions was the salary increase rate assumption. The $70,000 increase in the recommended contribution, at least over the last few years, still falls short of what Seaford has been contributing to the plan. In the last few years, you've contributed a significantly higher amount than what we've recommended. So I think from a budgetary standpoint, I don't think it's significant given what you've been contributing. But it did result in a higher recommendation for the contribution. Jeff will go through the valuation results in more detail, but I just wanted to touch base on that at a high level. Thank you for your time. We value the relationship with Seaford, and we enjoy always coming to visit and present to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
I'm just going to go over how this all ties together with our evaluation and put everything all in perspective. So we collect the data annually for the valuation based on how many people are in your pension plan. And we look at the data and see movement of the data and see where people line up at the end of the year. And on the top right, that's pretty much what we just analyzed on its last two slides, was the impact of the changes in the experience study and the changes for the assumptions for the valuation. Then plan provisions. I think the last amendment was an ad hoc increase for your pension benefits for retirees. And looking at the assets annually as well, see how the assets perform. So everything, data, assumptions, and assets are looking in the rear view, what happened during that plan year, and see how everything has either moved up or down favorably, losses or gains to the plan, depending on the nature of how everything moved in tandem. So basically, this is just how we do our valuation. We just look at evaluation at a point in time at the end of your fiscal or beginning of your fiscal year. And what that does is just measures your assets and liabilities and see how that changes your funded status up or down depending on movement. We don't review any future impacts for salary. I'm sorry, not for salary, but we don't look at your benefit a year from now. We only take it what you accrued to date at the valuation date. No future accruals are valued. So it's just really a point in time, July 1, that snapshot, and we measure the assets and liabilities, and then determine the overall impact of your city's contribution for the year. And over the plan's lifetime, you could, the last bullet, you have contributions and investments are like the assets, and then benefits and expenses on the right. So any of those pieces would change, it would impact that formula. As you increase benefits, obviously, now that would mean you have to contribute, the contributions would increase in order to keep the investment return the way it was, okay? Now, if you keep the benefits and expenses isolated and you have favorable investment returns, that in theory will lower your contributions if everything else is equal, because your assets are now improving your funded status of the plan. And we'll go over that on a few slides. So speaking of which, your assets performed very favorably from last year. As we discussed, as Bob has discussed, Bob Wright, 7% is our assumption, and the market value, which that doesn't account any smoothing of the assets. 11% is what you've retrieved during the year, and then our actuarial value really smooths out any of those irregularities over that 5-year period. And overall, that decreased your unfunded liability about $200,000. And the demographic experience, how the data has moved, that also decreased your unfunded liability by about $28,000 to almost $30,000. And you can see that the salary increases were a little bit higher than we have expected, which led to the experience study and whatnot. And then the last piece was that the impact of all the experience study changes that increase your unfunded by about $600,000, which takes into account all the salary increases and all those demographic assumptions that we've just talked about. Here's a high-level overview of how you favored over the last 3 years. Now, you can see from 2023, your city contribution requirement decreased from 16.3 to 15.8, less of a contribution for the city. But you can also see that the actual contribution was higher, from 537 to 643. But think about it, as your salaries would increase, that means the percent that you're increasing is just a measure of how much you're actually contributing for your employees. Funded status on the third line improved from 71% to 72.5, and that is that smoothed actuarial value. But you could see, if you skipped a few lines, 67.5% on a market value to 75.1%. So that's almost 10 percentage points favorably, okay? And this just explains your movement of the assets. You still, over the last 3 years, if you keep in mind that the assumption was 7%, so in the last 3 years, you've achieved well over 7%, which helps with your unfunded, and your city contribution requirement. This is just a high-level snapshot of what the future requirement could be for the plan. The actuarial liability is $20 million. That's not shown on the pie, but the actuarial assets in green is. That's the 14,698. Also, the dark blue is your unfunded liability. So that's really what those gains, losses that we've discussed and how that impacts, and any plan provisions that you put into the plan will affect that unfunded as well. So if you add the 14 and the 5 together, that'll add to your 2273 in your liabilities, okay? And then the top two are contribution requirements from the city and also the employees. The employees contribute 5%. That's the 2,2,186, and the cities is 1897, a pretty equitable distribution, and those contributions are those cost of accruals for the pension plan over that year, okay? And this is a 5-year overview of where your city contributions have increased over the last 5 years. The bottom is the employee contributions. Once again, they've increased over the past 5 years, and so has the employer normal cost. But as I pointed out, the percentage of contribution is actually lower, but the salaries have increased a little. And that 443 is that amortization of that unfunded, like a mortgage. So whatever you have in a deficit of that's the unfunded is the deficit, and we fund that over a 30-year period, and then we determine what that annual amount is, and that's about $443,000 for the unfunded out of that $5 million number that you saw on the pie chart before. This is just showing you how your funded status has increased. The blue line is that market value, and I said that tends to have more swings up and down, okay? But the actuarial value, you can see, is it's less volatile, and it doesn't move as much as the market value because we smooth out all those irregularities over 5 years. But still, if you start at 2019, your actuarial value was 70.4, going up to 72.5 currently. The actuarial value, you can see how it's smoothed if you look at 2021, where your funded status was 80.6, but on an actuarial basis, it was only 72, because you got to carve out those gains and spread those out over 5 years. This is just a high level. Oh, yeah, I did the same thing. The participant profile pretty much stays constant over the past 5 years. The actives on the top are the ones that are earning benefits or in the plan, earning benefits. They've remained steady in the 50s over the past 5 years. The middle are the ones that have terminated employment but have not collected their benefit. That's the light blue. And the bottom blue are those that are in receipt of payments. And pretty much it's pretty constant over last 5 years for the most part. Last three are pretty steady from 120 to 121. And this is part of that equation that we showed you before were the plan provisions. So you have, how you determine your benefits. Anyone hired before 21 has their annual earnings smoothed out over a 3-year period to determine their benefit. Anyone hired after January 21, any benefit is smoothed over a 5-year for the earnings. And then if you were hired after January 1st, 21, the service is now capped as well. And all employees, whether you were hired on or before 21, you're still 5% of compensation. And I believe that's it. The last one is all the pieces of the puzzle, how your investments do over time, and what type of risk that will give to your pension liabilities. Contribution risk may go up or down depending on if you aren't contributing what we require, what is required by the valuation. Salary increases will determine the risk of the plan, and what we've determined for your termination rates and any turnover, retirement rates. That's your demographic experience. Have people terminated more or less than what we anticipated, or have they retired more or less than they've anticipated? And that's really the demographic risk. And that's it for the presentation. We have a couple of disclaimers at the back that you can read. So we can pause here for questions if you have any.
Any questions or comments from council?
I have one. I saw, most of the slides we were at the 75%. What is your recommended percentage?
Funded percent?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
obviously we want to be 100 at some point, but I meant for you to consider it healthy, I guess is what I'm asking.
Well, you can see over the span of the plan, we don't have the data prior, but I consider this a positive movement for the plan when your funded status is actually improving. And keep in mind, without the experience study, it might have moved up a basis point, or it could have been 73 hypothetically. I don't know. It's definitely moving in the right direction, and a lot of it is depending on how your assets and how they're invested. And it seems like over the last 5 years, you've had a very favorable return on your assets, and that's a commendation for Wilmington Trust and how they've invested your assets. No matter how the market has performed in the last couple of years, assets has performed well. So that seems to be in line with favorably with what we would expected. But there is no, to answer your question, there's no right or wrong answer. But if you were in the private sector, there's different funding requirements for private sector, where there's any type of funding shortfall, which is that unfunded liability, would have to get amortized over a very short period, because they're required by law to set those assumptions and to set those funding regulations. So I would say that overall, your funded status is definitely moving in the right direction. It's not decreasing, which is good. And as the experience study results emerge, in the next couple of years, that would also smooth out any unfunded liability as well. So we wouldn't expect to see much movement on the liability side, depending on how the assets do, of course. But if there is any downfall in the market, hypothetically speaking, of course, those assets would be smoothed. Any of those losses will be smoothed out, so you're not taking all that hit in year one. Okay, you'll see it in future years as some of that loss gets emerged into the assets, but not automatically.
Question from Councilman Bradley.
Well, I just wanted to mention, would you like to elaborate on what you said to me this morning about the two holes that basically we have gotten through that have affected this in the past?
Yeah, thank you, Councilman. So, and I think potentially the Vice Mayor will remember this plan. We've had this plan in place a long time. And back in around 2008, we took out the police union members because they had a union. They negotiated to come out of the general employee pension plan, and we bought them into the state pension plan. So our assets took a large hit for that. At that same time, as luck would have it, the market tanked. Everybody remembered what happened in 2008. So the Vice Mayor will remember when our funded status was in the low 60s. Yeah.
50-some%.
So this snapshot doesn't look as bad as it has over the prior, 15 years,
Correct.
20 years or so. But Mr. Walton is correct. It's moving in the right direction. We're doing everything we can. Council took the bold step several years ago, as was outlined in the presentation. Future benefit recipients are going to not have as rich of a benefit here, so that helps. Doing this experience study, though, is required and it is necessary. Council and management has a fiduciary responsibility to make sure this plan continues on. There's a lot of people, as shown, that depend on this plan to receive benefits for them and their families. So, yes, we would like this plan to be at 100% funded or more, but we are certainly, and I'll use Councilman Bradley's words, we are working with our consultants and our investing folks to try to dig us out of this hole and move this plan in the right direction.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor?
So, as far as the asset portfolio, how often does that get rebalanced, or is it static? What's the mix?
That depends on the funding policy. I think you've changed your investment policy.
Yeah, we meet with them annually. Okay, so Gallagher doesn't really have anything to do with that. As mentioned earlier, that's Wilmington Trust. So they work together, but the custodian of our funds is Wilmington Trust. So June, myself, and then Annette Montgomery actually meet with them annually. We review our investment policy. And I'll say this with Wilmington Trust, we have a relatively conservative investment policy because, again, there is an array of people in this plan that depend on this. So we are not we are not ultra-conservative because we're getting good returns, but we are also not, we're not, betting the house on penny stocks or anything like that. So we are very pleased with Wilmington Trust performance of late. They've changed a few of their managers over the time Ms. Merritt and I have dealt with them. But that is Wilmington Trust's responsibility, and we do look at that annually.
Refresh my memory, didn't like just a few years ago, we renew a contract with them, or?
You do remember correctly, yes, sir. We had not, Wilmington Trust had been our longtime custodian of the pension funds. We had not done an RFP for a period of time. Ms. Merritt, Ms. Montgomery put together an RFP. We went out, we looked at, my memory was about 5 or 7 firms that responded to our RFP, and it just so happened that Wilmington Trust put forth the best proposal. We did make that recommendation to City Council, and City Council did move forward with them.
And the actuarial funding report does show what the portfolio of the assets consist of. I think it has a breakdown of the components of that, like what buckets of, high risk, low risk, medium risk.
Thank you.
Yes, I have a question for our city manager. Do you recall in the RFP, it was decided to go for Wilmington Trust for how long of a tenure?
I believe it was a 5-year contract with them. Ms. Merritt is confirming that. So, yeah. We'll go back out and at the end of that contract, and I believe we're 2 years into that contract. Does that sound right?
Correct.
Sounds right.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for clarifying. Any additional questions or comments from council? We're clear.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move on to new business number 3, and our Director of Economic Development and Community Relations, Tricia Newcomer.
Good evening, Mayor Council.
Good evening.
Get to where we need to be. All right. So this evening, we want to talk about the current, what we refer to as 2020, 25 and 25 plan, and a potential new incentive for our community. As you remember, back in 2009, going way back that far, at the time, our landscape and development around here was quite different than what it is today. So the councils at that time made the decision to adjust some of the fees, roll back some of the fees, with the inclusion of creating a water sewer impact fee incentive that sort of went with the year. So it was 10 incentives in 2010 and carried on up to where we are now, 25 and 25. As you can see, it's, the first couple years it really didn't take a hold. 2013, we maxed out, and then it sort of static there for a while up until about 2020. And then things really started, if you remember, around here, were really starting to take shape. And so we've maxed out that several times. In fact, 3 of those years, we actually came back to council for additional incentives, which was a good problem to have. That means homes were being constructed here in our community. That totals about $422,000 in fees that were given out. 2025 has been maxed out. However, the developer that maxed that out just recently received a refund of about 11 because they're no longer developing in the Muirfield development. However, we have heard that potentially the Governor's Grant Phase 4 developer will probably take those. So that will also cap out the 25 and 25. So we were tasked, staff was tasked with the idea of this did a great job for incentivizing development when we needed development. But now we need for our residents to be able to afford homes. And these incentives are not getting to those individuals in need. So, with that being said, I'd like to present the Live Local program. This is an incentive that would be designed to go right to those folks, the essential workers, to achieve the dream of home ownership here in our community, with us providing some incentive for their closing cost. As it states, it's more than an assistance, it's an investment in creating a strong, lasting community and building long-term neighbors. This would be an incentive that would provide $2,500 in closing costs to those individuals that would be buying a home located here within the corporate limits of Seaford. So that's not the 19973 zip code. That is our corporate boundaries. We need to be clear on that. In addition to that, as sort of an incentive on our own side to our employees and fire department, and with the hopes that other businesses would see what we're doing and come alongside of us to add additional, we would add an additional $2,500 for those purchasing a home that were city employees or fire department volunteers or paid employees. So they could potentially receive up to $5,000 that would go towards their closing cost. So who qualifies for this? Obviously, we talk about workforce, and that can go from mild to wild. So as council remember, we talked about this at planning session briefly. So this is first responders, medical professionals, that incorporates whether it's medical on the human side, veterinary side, education professionals, that's from your teachers down to those that are actually custodial, cafeteria workers. We wanted to make sure that we were getting all of that. Logistics professionals, certainly we have a strong base of logistics here in our area. Law enforcement members, not just police officers, so you have the support in the police department. You've got call takers, so they would be considered law enforcement members. Active military personnel, and then governmental agency employees, so those that would be potentially employed by a sister community or the state of Delaware, they would qualify. They would have to show proof of their full-time, has to be full-time, not part-time, and active enlistment in order to receive this. And this has to be done with the sale process. You can't purchase a home and then come back and say, I want to get that incentive. This all has to take place at that same time. And they would need to make the commitment that they will reside within our community for a period of 5 years, that they're going to homeowner occupy that home that they're purchasing. They're not going to flip it, turn it, into an investment. Obviously, with anything that we do, we want to make sure that they are in financial good standing with the city, so that check would be done at the time that any application was made. As I mentioned, a residency commitment would be required for the 5 years. If they should sell during that 5-year period, we would prorate that on a 20% annual basis, and they would be required to pay that back. In addition to the additional incentive for city employees and fire department employees, if they should continue to be residing here in Seaford, they can keep that $2,500, but if they're no longer employed by us or volunteering for the fire department, they would within 90 days need to provide full-time proof of employment in one of these sectors in order to keep that, or that also would be a repayment. As I mentioned, this is not retroactive. It has to be applied for during settlement. And then just as this is just a brief synopsis of how you go about it. Again, what the $2,500 for the home closing, and with the additional $2,500 for city employees and fire department, they would need to actually fill out a form that would come to the Director of Economic Development for processing. Any discrepancy in employment qualification would then go to the city manager. So if there was a gray area that we really weren't sure about, the city manager would make that determination. We would put a promissory note or a lien on that account so that we know that if they leave our lines or they sell the house, that clawback would take effect, and it would have a expiration date as well. This certainly needs to be a budgeted item, so this would not take effect until, if approved, until the July 1, 2026 budget. So we would need to put that in our budget process. So you'll see those numbers, how that would come out. And getting the word out would obviously be super, super, super key. So we would hit this with a very huge marketing campaign. We would want to make sure we would get this in front of all the real estate professionals within our community that are selling homes, so that their clients are aware of this. But as I mentioned earlier, you know, we would reach out to the local businesses, the hospital, schools, let them know that, you know, as you're recruiting, please make sure that you tell your future employees this option is there. But hopefully they'll come alongside and add an incentive on their end as well. So hopefully we can provide better workforce opportunities in housing to our community. That's all I have.
Okay. A lot of details there. Are there any questions or comments from council? Okay. If there are no questions or comments, at this time, I'll set the motion.
Mr. Mayor, Councilman Holland, I make the motion to approve the new workforce housing economic development incentive to begin July the 1st, 2026, and eliminate the TAP fee waiver program effective January the 1st, 2026, as presented.
All right, we have a motion from Councilman Holland. Is there a second?
Councilman Bradley, I second the motion.
A second from Councilman Bradley. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes unanimously.
I'll say thank you, not on behalf of staff, but on behalf of those future residents that are going to take advantage of that, so thank you.
And
Thank you.
thank you for bringing it forward. It's a great program. I think it's going to positively impact a number of people, so thank you so much. You got me, Councilman. All right, I'll move on to new business number 4 and Director of Public Works, Burley Mears.
Good evening, Mayor.
Good
Council.
evening.
Good evening.
How you doing?
How are you, sir?
Okay, so this basically is the same presentation that I presented during the planning session pertaining to raising the impact fees. So as you all know, we're looking at a big expansion project, upgrade and expansion project at our wastewater treatment facility in the tune of, you know, $47 million or so. So in that will also be the increase of capacity going from a 2 million gallon plant to a 3 million gallon plant. So what we did was we took some calculations. We're expanding the flow. We're going to gain 1.55 million gallons of additional capacity. And like at the planning session, there's a lot of numbers here, and I'll try to go as slow as I can, but if you have any questions, just stop me. I can elaborate on some of it. But so we're going to gain about 1.55 million gallons of additional capacity, which equates to about 6,200 EDUs. You know, we use 7,500 gallons for, per month for EDU. So if you, that's a 52% increase in capacity that we're going to gain. So we just did some simple math where we divided the cost of the upgrade by 52%, gives us this $23 million value of the expansion, basically to go from 2 million gallons to 3 million gallons. So if you divide that by the 6,200 EDUs, that gives you a $3,721.45 per EDU charge, if we were to try to recoup it through all of impact fees. Our current impact fee is $1,400. So basically, we're talking about raising the sewer impact fee from $1,400 to $3,700. So it's a $2,321.41 increase. I'm going to flip to this one. So this one basically is a spreadsheet saying this, showing the same thing that I just said. Basically, the $3,721 is the bottom line there. But over to the right, you can see it's comparing our current rate and the proposed rate to our sister communities of Laurel, Milford, Georgetown, and even Sussex County. I include Sussex County because, of course, we treat their wastewater for Blades, Bridgeville, and Greenwood. So as you can see, if we increase, we're still well below all of our sister communities, even with the increase of the $2,700. Did I say that right? $2,300.21 increase. We'd still be well below our sister communities, just for comparison. In that also, I wanted to try to level up the current tapping fees. So currently, I'm sorry, get back to this here. Currently, our tapping fee for sewer is $1,650, and a $1,400 impact fee. Our water tapping fee is $1,025 and a $600 impact fee. I'm proposing that we make the sewer tap fee the same as the water tap fee of $1,025 and just shift that additional $625 over to the impact side of it. Because basically, water taps, we do the work, and we're charging $1,025. Sewer taps, we do not do the work. We charge the developer, more for the tapping fee when we're not doing the work, and he has to get a contractor to do the work. So I just felt like, let's make it the same as the tapping fee, shift it over to the impact side. So if we combine the two numbers, this adjustment to the tapping and impact fee, plus the net increase of the sewer impact fee, we come up with this. So the proposed combined sewer tap impact fee of $5,371. That's impact fee. Our impact fee also includes a downstream sewer assessment fee, as it recovers costs from wastewater flows through lift stations. So if it flows through a lift station, we charge a downstream sewer assessment fee on top of the impact fee. So this is to explain, let me see if I'm on the right one here. I'm not in the right one, that's why I was, there we go. So the new sewer impact fee and adjustment is $3,721. Take the adjustment of the $625 of the sewer tap to the impact fee. So the new proposed sewer impact fee would be $4,346. It was some change, but we did drop the change. So if you're going to try to do the math, it's going to be a little different with the change, but just for easy math. So the new proposed sewer tap fee would be $1,025. Proposed sewer tap and impact fee would be the $5,371. Current sewer tap and impact fee equals $3,050. So again, it's the net increase of $2,321. A lot of numbers, I know. What I wanted to, this is going to be for all new impact fees for both anything to do with the city expansion, but also, quarterly, the county pays us impact fees for any growth in their area. So I just wanted to show how this will affect that as well, because at this rate, they are growing a little bit quicker than we are. So it does have a direct impact with revenue as well, so revenue from the county. So if we take the proposed sewer tap fee of the $5,371, and then we add these downstream sewer assessments. So take Bridgeville for example. It flows through Dolby Lift Station, which is a $1,000 downstream sewer assessment charge. A North Ross Lift Station, which is $500, and then an interceptor upgrade charge of $500. Then Blades is a little different. It doesn't go through any lift stations other than the county lift station, but they still get the interceptor upgrade charge of $500. So what this means is the proposed tap fee for Bridgeville would be $7,371, and Blades is going to be $5,871. So again, just to show, taking 2024 numbers of all the quarterly impact fees that we received from the county, you can see there that, we brought in $603,000 at our current rates. And if we would use these proposed rates, it would jump up to $1.55 million. So there's a potential to make a $954,000 more in revenue just off the Sussex County impact fees alone. Now, again, this is 2024 numbers. So far in 2025, they're down to 43. They were 215 for 4 quarters last year. Through 3 quarters, they were 43. So it's gone down quite a bit. We had 72 permits in 2024 compared to the county's 215. EDUs is what it is. So that's my proposal.
Okay. Any questions or comments from council? Okay. If there are no questions or comments at this time, I will accept the motion.
Councilman McQuillan, I'll make the motion to approve the increased sewer impact fees to address the additional debt service related to the wastewater treatment plant expansion project effective July 1st, 2026, as presented.
We have a motion from Councilman Quillen. Is there a second?
Councilwoman Grassett, I second.
Second from Councilwoman Grassett. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes unanimously. Now on to new business number 5.
All right, council, excuse me, council has in their package a draft schedule of fees and rates, and I'll specifically direct your attention to page 5 and 6, and that's exactly what Director Mears just went over. The sewer impact fee per EDU would go to $4,346, and then on page 6, the sewer tap fees would change to $725 with the $300 street opening fee, as was laid out in his aforementioned proposal. Significantly as well, as stated in his presentation, these, while the fee and rate schedule would be amended today, November 11th, should council move forward with this, these fees would not come into effect July 1, 2026. And the idea here is we want to get the notice out to the developing community, to this county, so people are prepared for this and no one is surprised. So the building department, public works department can utilize this fee and rate schedule to send that out to make people aware.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments from council on new business number 5? If there are none, at this time, I'll accept the motion.
Councilman McQuillan, I'll make the motion to approve the fee and rate schedule that would increase sewer impact fees and revise sewer tap fees effective July 1st, 2026, as presented.
We have a motion from Councilman Quillen. Is there a second?
Councilman Holland, I second that motion.
We have a second from Councilman Holland. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes unanimously. Now on to old business.
We have no old business, sir.
Now on to the reminder of meetings.
One slightly late. Everyone was at the Veterans Day ceremony. It was not at Kiwanis Park. It was at Seaford High School. Very nice event today. Also, Western Sussex Chamber Awards Dinner is tomorrow night at the Laurel File Hall from 5 to 7. If anybody would like to ride, we are leaving here a little bit after 5 o'clock tomorrow night. And then the annual Caroling in the Park event is Monday, December 1st at 7 p.m. in Gateway Park. That is all I have, sir.
Looking forward to those nights. A lot going on. I'm going to move over to our liaison reports. We're going to begin with Code, Parks and Recreation, and Councilwoman Stephanie Grassley.
I'll start with the Code Department report. Permits and rental licenses have remained the same. However, they are starting to prepare the rental renewals. The 2026 renewals are being prepped to be sent out, as well as the license renewals for plumbers, septic haulers, and trash vendors are also being processed to be sent out. They are continuing to do routine inspections and violation inspections throughout the city. An update on some of our large projects. Muirfield 1, Phase 4. Ryan Homes has finished the lots they have under construction and are not going to be continuing in Muirfield. As we heard earlier, they have requested refunds on the 25 and 25 of 11 permits. They do have 17 lots remaining in Phase 4, but they will not be continuing to be the contractor for those lots. In Bel Air, the final 2 homes are nearly completed. In the Western Sussex Business Campus, they're waiting for a final inspection, and KRM is working on the first lease for storage space. In the Nylon Capital Shopping Center renovation, permits are ready to go for the front building shell spaces. Fit out for the mill has continued. The Deltec fit out permit was issued. Tidal Health building construction is progressing. As far as Mod Wash, they have The big thing that's changed since the last report was they have their electric transformer has been relocated, and they're doing site work on the storm water in that area. Governor's Grant Phase 4, the utility installation is underway and lots are being graded. As far as Aldi, they are waiting on the Sussex Conservation District and DelDOT to give them approvals. The permit is ready to issue as soon as we get those approvals. For Cookout, which is coming to Seaford as well, we did give some minor comments back on their plan, and they are still working on their architectural plans for submission. And an update on the Seaford Inn, again, as we voted at our last meeting, we voted and approved the unbudgeted expenditure for demolition. Demo bid packages are ready, and they will be sent out starting in January. That's it for the Code Department. As far as Parks and Recreation, we have both of the fountains in the city of Seaford at Kiwanis Park and at the Gateway Park have been turned off and cleaned up. They held their final week of soccer on 10/25, and congratulations to 9U Inter Miami and 13U Sporting Kansas City on their championships as far as soccer. They also held the final week of youth flag football. Congratulations to the Commanders. Wish my Commanders were doing as well. But they are the 10-13 champs. They hosted the annual skills competition and all-star games for youth flag football with a total of 28 all-stars and 24 competitors. So congratulations to all of those teams and our all-stars. Starting a new season, registration for youth basketball has been filled. There will be 7 teams in the 6 to 9 age group and 6 teams in the 10 to 13 age group. The Parks and Recreation Department partnered with the state of Delaware and the Seaford High School Ag Department to plant 14 trees at the sport complex through a community grant. They edged around Hooper's Landing. They opened Little Wrestlers registration, which will be held on Tuesdays and Thursdays through December and January. They have, I think, a full bus for the trip to New York. And they are working on, they've been trained in some software to set up a new embedded website within our website for recreation programs, park and pavilion rentals, and events so that people can go online and make those registrations. And they are working on the 2025 program for the Caroling in the Park event, which we just announced was December 1st. The tree will be going up on November 21st. And that's my report.
Thank you, Councilwoman. I'm going to move over to Police and Fire and Vice Mayor Dan Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have 2 complete reports from both chiefs of the departments. The total calls to date for the fire side is 1,116 calls, and the chief noted that we did exceed 1,000 calls during the period, and was pretty much just just in November, 10 full months. Under EMS, there was a total of 3,998 calls, but by this time it's over 4,000 calls. And then total calls to date are 5,114 calls for an average of 16.2 calls per day. Very busy month. This since we all live in town, I can bet that you all heard a lot of sirens over the last couple of weeks. You'll see a chart that the chief has included the October calls by hours, the frequency and the time of day of those calls, and some fire and EMS total calls, hours in service, and the number of patients that it's 310 patients that EMS transported during the month of October. Under significant events, there's been a rash of motor vehicle accidents with entrapments. You'll see there a couple within this period. Also, most of the significant events have been out of the city with a couple of mutual aid calls. Rescue 87 is still out of service for body work, which has become a point of contention with the fire service, between the fire service and the vendor. So they're looking at alternatives to get Rescue 87 back on the road. You'll see the fuel stats, the number of times at the pump, the net cost, and the total amount of gallons used. Under training, the last training was Wednesday, November 5th at the Delaware State Fire School, Vehicle Rescue Evolutions. The next training is on the 19th, where the Delaware State Fire School will do structural fire evolutions. Pardon me. The next chart, you'll see the number of hours. The chief pointed out the incredible number of hours that the personnel go through and their dedication to training. I don't have any stats to back it up, to measure it up against other companies, but he did say that the number of hours of training exceed those of our peers. Under EMS, you'll see firefighter EMT Liam Stabner has finished his probationary fire skills book, and it will complete his exam this week. Brooks Morris, firefighter EMT Brooks Morris, has nearly completed the probationary fire skills book, and firefighter EMT Robert Helsel is attending the water rescue equipment logistic training in Orlando, Florida this week. Apparently he had some water rescue experience at a previous companies, and he's demonstrated an interest in it, and that's why he's attending that. Is it Pennsylvania?
I think that's correct.
Lieutenant Alan Jarman, firefighter EMT James Durr, and Hunter Hardesty completed their 30-hour EMT refresher. And firefighter EMT Logan Cleversey had completed a driver training on engine 87-2 and is cleared as an operator. At the Delaware State Fire School EMT class, we're getting a number of, or he's seeing an influx in ride-alongs for patient contacts, and that's always positive because it gives the students exposure to the fire department and for potential employment in the future. There are 3 applications for part-time EMTs, all of whom will need some form of field training officers. And the ambulance license permit for 2026 has been submitted. I'm going to skip over a few of these, but I would like to note that we've got a list of our local winners, and they have been submitted to the county for the county committee, and just wanted to show you that there's a long list of students from local schools who participated in this, and we wish them all luck, the best of luck at the county level. I would read them out, but I would butcher them. It's very hard to pronounce, so
Don't do it.
I won't. I don't want to go on screen as making that mistake. But they're there for your review and for anyone who wants to review them. Ladder 87 and E87-5 attended the Warriors Walk at Kiwanis Park on Saturday, November 8th, and Ladder 87 and EMS attended the Veterans Day ceremony at the high school earlier today. Seaford Police Department, as usual, Chief Crest has a complete report with columns and comparisons in between. 147 under all crimes, and you'll see the distribution there for an 84% clearance rate, which is a point or two from the previous report. Still a high rate and a really good rate. The clearance rate for the additional crimes fell to 37.5, and you'll see the distribution there. Under drug complaints, there are 7 drug crimes, 2 adult arrests, 1 pending active, 4 prosecution declined, and 3 search warrants. There was 1 overdose that the police department had an encounter with, and that was at the Comfort Suites. Under traffic, there's 212 traffic contacts, 154 citations, and 26 warnings, 4 DUIs, 1 crash-related, 34 crashes during the period with 4 injury accidents, 11 non-reportable and 19 reportable, 3 hit-and-run accidents, 2 on private property and 1 on South Market Street and Front Street, 1 bicycle accident, 2 pedestrian accidents, and the 1 alcohol drug-related crash. Number of significant events, but I will give you an update that's highlighted in the report. On November 4th, let me back up. On August 17th, there was a stolen golf cart and lawnmower from Lowe's, and the report for 11/4 was that they made an arrest, and they have an arrest warrant for another person involved. So it's listed as pending active, but they have made an arrest, and they've identified the individual, and there's an arrest warrant for this other individual. You'll also see some other reports that give you a little bit better detail about the pedestrian accidents. There was another stolen vehicle, which was a Hyundai, and it was recovered. They're using USB sticks to hack into the ignition and drive the car away, and but it was recovered. So we have, please be aware that I think there is some action to try to get Hyundai and Kia to modify that, or do a recall or something to modify that problem, but it is a widespread problem, not just locally. And on the 8th of November, there was a recovered stolen vehicle on the 200 block of North Market Street. And this stolen vehicle was abandoned on North Market Street, and it was a Kia Optima. So, just another demonstration that it's a popular target for some of these criminals. So, under administration, you'll see that the chief and leadership have been very busy, attending various community meetings. One of the things that the chief did attend on the 9th, last Sunday, he attended the military stand down, which was a part of the Clarence Street Church of God service. He made note of just how nice that ceremony was for the local veterans, or the veterans attending. And you'll see the other training activities that are going on. Notably, the Safe Kids car seat training, and that Lieutenant Mills attended, and also he achieved his certified instructor on the car safety seats as well. So that's going to conclude my report.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Oh, can I
By all
double
means.
dip? Want to wish travel mercies for the team that's going down for Kalia, the chief, and Lieutenant Horn. Who else? One other?
Nope, that was it.
Does it? Okay. The chief and, there was one other, former. But the chief and the lieutenant are down to answer questions and face a panel as part of our Kalia certification, which is a national departmental certification. So travel mercies for them, and wish them good luck.
Because
Amen.
traveling isn't fun right now.
Amen. I understand they bumped into a former mayor down there.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to move over to our administration and Councilman Orlando Holland.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. They attended a DMEC budget and review meeting along with the executive committee meeting. They attended Representative Danny Short's coffee meeting and IT service in-car camera connections for Seaford Police Department. And the new rave system for messaging has been implemented. And they attended various other meetings and events, and all the work was routine. And that concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. Over to Councilman Mike Bradley and the Electric Department.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Speaking to Greg Brook this morning, there were a major trimming at Arbutus this past week. They have been troubleshooting the street lamps on Norman Eskridge. Westview received recycled LED lights from the replacements from the grant. Pennsylvania Avenue received a replacement pole, which I consider more proactiveness. Also, State Street had a broken pole, Arbutus and Crossgate. Did an electric shutdown of Axe at the Manor House for the main breaker testing and generator. They prepped the new timers and brackets for additional lights on Atlanta Road and Herring Run. And Greg said we have a total Christmas light hanging of approximately 104, if I'm not mistaken. Greg met with Affordable Tree Care for quotes in Westview, reviewed plans for cookout, met for a planning session at Seaford Innovation Center, worked on a quote for backup transformers, another proactive approach, reached out to Jay Waller about a load study with a solar interconnection application, and coming up, the installation of the Christmas lights. And that concludes my report with no humor.
I'm a bit devastated, I gotta say. All right, gonna move over to our Public Works and Wastewater Treatment Facility and Councilman Alan Quinlan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll start with Public Works. As you well know, the leaves are falling and the leaf vac is out cleaning them up along the curbs. Sewer line cleaning has been completed. The new brine tank is full and ready for the first snowfall, which might be tonight. I don't know. So they're ready to rock and roll there. Service leak repaired on Nalon Boulevard. The new water main on Governor's Grant has been filled for the contractor. Located sewer lateral on Delaney Street for Penco. Sewer line replacement on 607 Hickory Lane. Property cleanups have been completed for the code department. 3 staff members attended training classes for water licenses, and performing all other routine weekly duties have been completed. Moving over to the wastewater treatment facility and compost. Plant performance is good. There was an issue with dewatering at the end of October due to a wasting issue. Issues have been resolved and were resolved in a few days. Primary building cleanout has started to prepare for the construction work. third quarter solar renewable energy credits were transferred to DMAP. Leachate and septage reports have been completed. Working on summary for the PAA trial to submit to DENREC. And the facility loader has 100,000 hours on it, and the service has been completed on it. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilman Quillen. I have a few housekeeping items I want to go over before we move to executive session. Quick reminder to the community, Friday night, big night here in Seaford. Our local Blue Jays are in the football playoffs. So come out there and check them out. I have a 7 p.m. Friday night here in Seaford against Glasgow. The Blue Jays are the number 2 seed in the tournament, so go Jays. Want to give a quick shout out and get this correctly. Mr. Bill Bennett, many of you know and adore, has been chosen to be the Grand Marshal for the 2025 Annual Christmas Parade. So shout out to Mr. Bennett. I'm looking forward. Just another reason to come out and see the Christmas Parade, see Mr. Bennett there, Grand Marshal status. Quick shout out to Mr. Bill Hurley. He hopefully he's watching. Hopefully I did a better job tonight. Councilman keep me on my toes. And a personal shout out to Sawyer McCoy, who turns 3 years old today. Happy birthday, Sawyer.
Happy birthday.
So future Little League All-Star in the making. And with that, I would ask for a motion to enter into executive session.
Councilman Quillen, I'll make that motion.
We have a motion from Councilman Quillen. Is there a second?
Councilman Holland, I second that motion.
We have a motion from Councilman Holland. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, we're going to enter into executive session. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Glenn.